A young mother needs an urgent heart transplant, and when looking for a donor, something unbelievable happens. Imagine facing a devastating diagnosis, knowing that your life and that of your family depend on a miracle. This is the story of Emily, a young mother whose race against time will defy all expectations and beliefs. When her heart fails, the desperate search for a compatible donor pushes her family to the brink of collapse. But what would you do if, just when all hope seems lost, an unexpected miracle appears, changing everyone's fate forever? Emily was a vibrant young mother, full of life and energy, always putting her family first. One day, after feeling unusually tired and short of breath, she decided to visit her doctor, thinking it was just exhaustion from juggling work and parenting. But the news she received was devastating. The doctor's face turned serious as he explained the situation. "Emily, your heart condition is severe. You need a transplant urgently." The words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Emily's world spun out of control. She thought about her children, her husband, and the life they had built together. How could she possibly be facing this? At home, the reality sank in even deeper. Her husband, Mark, tried to stay strong, but she could see the fear in his eyes. Their children sensed something was wrong, but didn't fully understand the gravity of the situation. Emily felt an overwhelming sense of helplessness. Despite the overwhelming fear, Emily decided to fight. She researched everything she could about heart transplants, met with specialists, and joined support groups. Every day was a battle against time, and every moment with her family became even more precious. The waiting list was long, and the uncertainty was agonizing. But Emily, with her unyielding spirit, held on to hope, determined to see her children grow up. The journey had just begun, and Emily was prepared to face it with courage and determination. She knew that every second counted, and she was ready to fight for her life and for the future of her family. Every tick of the clock felt like a thunderous reminder of the precious time slipping away. Emily's condition worsened with each passing day, and the urgency to find a compatible heart donor grew more desperate. The hospital's waiting list seemed endless, and the chances of finding a match in time appeared slim. Mark was relentless in his pursuit to save Emily. He reached out to friends, family, and even strangers, spreading the word through social media and local news outlets. "Please help us find a donor," he would plead, his voice heavy with the weight of their situation. The community rallied around them, offering support, sharing their story, and praying for a miracle. Emily's days were filled with a mix of hope and despair. She spent hours in the hospital undergoing tests and treatments, her body growing weaker but her spirit refusing to break. Her children drew pictures and wrote letters, trying to cheer her up, their innocence a poignant contrast to the grave reality they faced. Late at night, Mark would sit by Emily's bedside, holding her hand and whispering words of encouragement. "We're going to get through this. You're going to get that new heart, and we'll have our life back." But behind his brave front, he too battled his own fears, wondering how much longer they could hold on. The medical team worked tirelessly, scouring databases, making calls, and exploring every possible avenue to find a match for Emily. Their dedication was unwavering, but the obstacles were immense. The right donor had to be found soon, or it would be too late. Days turned into weeks, and the weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on everyone's shoulders. Yet amidst the chaos and the ticking clock, a faint glimmer of hope remained. Emily's strength and determination inspired everyone around her. She had come too far to give up now, and the fight for her life continued with an unyielding resolve. The strain of Emily's illness weighed heavily on her family. Mark struggled to balance his job, care for their children, and be there for Emily. Every day felt like a tightrope walk, teetering on the edge of collapse. Their once vibrant home was now filled with an uneasy silence, punctuated by the constant hum of medical equipment and the whispered prayers of anxious hearts. The children, sensing the tension, tried to maintain a semblance of normalcy. They continued with their schoolwork and activities, but their smiles no longer reached their eyes. They missed their mother's presence, her warmth, and the comfort of her embrace. Mark did his best to shield them from the harsh realities, but even he couldn't hide his moments of despair. One evening, after putting the kids to bed, Mark sat alone in the living room, his head in his hands. The weight of the world seemed to crush him. How much longer could they endure this relentless uncertainty? Just then, his phone buzzed with a message from a friend, offering a glimmer of hope. "I heard about a potential donor. Don't give up." Emily, too, felt the burden of her condition pressing down on her. Lying in her hospital bed, she stared at the ceiling, fighting back tears. The constant beeping of monitors and the sterile smell of the room were stark reminders of her fragile state. Yet, amidst the despair, she clung to hope. She had to believe that a miracle was possible, not just for her sake, but for her family. Visitors streamed in and out, each bringing their own mix of encouragement and sorrow. Some days, the support lifted Emily's spirits, while other times, it highlighted the gravity of her situation. Through it all, she maintained a brave face, drawing strength from the love that surrounded her. The community's support was a lifeline. Friends organized fundraisers and prayer vigils, offering both financial and emotional assistance. Strangers reached out, sharing their own stories of survival and hope. It was this network of compassion that kept Emily and her family afloat, preventing them from succumbing to the darkness. One particularly difficult night, as Emily lay awake, a nurse entered her room. She was a kind woman with a gentle demeanor who had been a constant source of comfort. "Emily," she said softly, "I've seen miracles happen. Don't lose hope. Sometimes, when we least expect it, life has a way of surprising us." Those words lingered in Emily's mind, offering a fragile thread of hope to hold on to. In the face of overwhelming despair, she chose to believe in the possibility of a brighter tomorrow. And as the night gave way to dawn, Emily and her family clung to that hope, praying for the miracle that could save her life. Just when hope seemed like a distant memory, a miracle unfolded in the most unexpected way. It was a dreary afternoon, the hospital filled with the usual hustle and bustle. Emily was resting, her energy dwindling by the day, when the door to her room swung open with a sense of urgency. Dr. Stevens, her cardiologist, entered with a look of cautious optimism. "Emily, we might have found a donor," he said, his voice barely able to contain the excitement. Emily's eyes widened, disbelief mixing with a fragile hope. Could this really be happening? Mark, who had been by Emily's side, stood up, his heart pounding. "Are you serious?" he asked, almost afraid to believe it. Dr. Stevens nodded. "The donor is a young man who tragically lost his life in an accident. His family has graciously agreed to donate his organs. Preliminary tests show he's a match." Tears streamed down Emily's face as the reality sank in. This was the moment they had been praying for, the glimmer of hope they so desperately needed. The hospital staff sprang into action, coordinating the logistics of the transplant with precision and care. There was no time to waste. The hours that followed were a whirlwind of activity. Emily was prepped for surgery, her family waiting anxiously in the corridor. Mark held her hand until the very last moment, whispering words of love and encouragement. "You're going to make it through this. We'll be waiting for you on the other side." The surgical team worked tirelessly, their skills and expertise shining through. Every second felt like an eternity for those waiting outside. The atmosphere was thick with tension, a mixture of fear and hope hanging in the air. Finally, after what felt like a lifetime, Dr. Stevens emerged from the operating room. His face was a picture of relief. "The transplant was a success," he announced. "Emily is stable and in recovery." A wave of emotion swept over the family. Mark hugged his children tightly, tears of joy and relief flowing freely. They had made it through the darkest part of their journey, and the light at the end of the tunnel was finally in sight. As Emily woke up in the recovery room, she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She had been given a second chance at life, a chance to watch her children grow and to create new memories with her family. The donor's selfless gift had not only saved her life, but had also brought a renewed sense of hope and purpose to her family. The miracle of the donor's appearance was a turning point, a moment that would forever be etched in their hearts. Emily's journey was far from over, but with this new heart, she was ready to face whatever came next. The future, once clouded with uncertainty, now seemed bright and full of promise. The day Emily returned home was a celebration of life and love. The house, which had once been filled with worry and fear, now buzzed with joy and excitement. Friends and family gathered to welcome her back, their faces glowing with relief and happiness. Emily, though still weak, felt a strength she hadn't known before. Her new heart beat with a renewed vigor, a symbol of the second chance she had been given. Mark was by her side every step of the way, helping her settle back into their routine. The children, filled with boundless energy and joy, clung to their mother, never wanting to let her go. Every small task, from making breakfast to reading bedtime stories, became a cherished moment. The family had faced the brink of despair and come out stronger, united by the ordeal. Emily's recovery was steady, guided by the careful attention of her doctors and the unwavering support of her loved ones. Physical therapy sessions became a time of bonding and progress, each step forward a victory celebrated by all. Mark often accompanied her, providing encouragement and sharing in the triumphs and setbacks alike. As weeks turned into months, Emily's health improved significantly. She began to take walks in the park with her family, relishing the simple pleasures that she had once taken for granted. Each day was a gift, a chance to create new memories and to embrace life with a newfound gratitude. The bond between Emily and her family deepened, forged in the crucible of their shared experience. The story of Emily's journey spread throughout their community, inspiring others with its message of hope and resilience. Neighbors and strangers alike reached out, offering words of support and admiration. Emily often found herself overwhelmed by the kindness and generosity that surrounded her. With her strength returning, Emily decided to give back. She began volunteering at the local hospital, offering support to other patients facing similar challenges. Her story, one of survival and love, became a beacon of hope for those in the darkest moments of their lives. She and Mark also organized community events to raise awareness about organ donation, sharing their journey and emphasizing the importance of giving the gift of life. Emily's family life flourished. The children thrived, their laughter filling the home with warmth and joy. Mark and Emily, more in love than ever, found new ways to support and uplift each other. Their relationship, tested by adversity, emerged stronger and more resilient. One evening, as the family gathered around the dinner table, Emily looked at her children and husband with tears in her eyes. "We've been through so much," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "But we're here, together, and that's all that matters." In that moment, they knew that they had been given a priceless gift, the chance to start anew, to rebuild their lives with love and gratitude. Emily's journey from the brink of despair to the heights of recovery was a testament to the power of hope, the strength of family, and the miracle of second chances.